cloud ripper skies, over fresh pellet snow, yeah. Trees and leaves, they die. One yellow cypress, the wood pile is filled. 3 spots in a lake, surviving will. Surviving will, yes. Surviving will.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another music moment in the life of the old-time rock and roller. Today, I have my friend of over 30 years, Mr. Lawrence Perlman. Now, I sometimes call him Mojo. I sometimes call him Voodoo Man. I sometimes call him LP. But he is a great friend of mine, and we have really been through a lot of adventures together. How are you today, Lawrence? I know we've got a delay here, so we're trying to deal with it.
Well, we don't have a delay as much as our government has a delay in dealing with us, but we won't get into politics. I'm doing great from Guatemala, despite the delay. We have a great signal. Thank Al Gore for that, because we wouldn't have the internet without him. And so on that note, as I said, I'm not going to get political today because the dogs are out there and they're hungry. It's great to see you again. We haven't seen each other since, were you arrested that time or was I?
Now, come on, this call's getting off on the wrong foot. People are going to be getting the wrong idea here. You know, we met in 1991 at a party, and you told me that you were a poet. And I said, well, I'm a songwriter. Why don't you come over to my house next Sunday and we'll go out in the back porch and we'll see what we can do. You read me a poem and I'll see if it gives me any vibes. Do you remember that day?
I sure do, but there's one difference. It was a Saturday.
I know it was
Big
only
deal.
31 years ago. Okay. It was a Saturday. And so you opened up your notebook and you started off and you read me Walking Richmond Streets. We had met in Richmond, Virginia, right? And so you were about halfway through it, and I said, wait a minute. And I fiddled a little bit, and I said, okay, read it again. And you read it, and I played music to it. And then you did, right? Bobby Sands, the Irishman, the IRA or something like that. We did Bobby.
He's the guy who starved himself to death instead of accepting the British law. Yeah, he was a revolutionary, Irish revolutionary. Yeah.
Well, that's odd that you'd write about something like that. So what was the other song we did? The third.
We did Eyes Piercing.
It was
Eyes Piercing.
Okay.
Eyes piercing. Eyes piercing.
I saw you, baby, in mid-sleep dream. Your eyes were hesitating, but I couldn't leave that dream.
Right. That was a great song. And we actually put that on my 8-track in Atlanta, probably 5 years after that, right? Now, we had written together between 40 and 50 songs at least. And the very first song that we did together, one called Graybeard, appeared on my debut, I Need You CD.
Yeah.
Iron. Graybeard cuddle in a bottle of oat. Preppy man bound for Caribbean resort.
I got a lot of compliments on that song. The next recording we did together was on my Forest on Fire CD, and we did Queen of Sheba. Remember that one?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, but I couldn't hit the range. I couldn't hit the range, so that's why you had Raymond do that one.
Right. On the
But
right.
that's a great song. What a great dance song. Yeah.
I was put into a place before thee. Queen of Sheba, dance for me. Queen of Sheba, you are so wiry.
When I launched my blues career albums in 1999, Spirit of the Blues, we were playing at the Gasparilla Pirate Festival in Tampa. And we played in Ybor City for a couple of days and such to warm up for it. You were there. What do you remember
Yes. I did the sound introduction for you all, and I did the soundboard for the first time for you all. And I remember one thing: you got stiffed by the guy the night before the festival. So we were playing in Ybor City, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And you had tons of people. And when you go time to get paid, you said, "Well, where's our money?" And the guy goes, "Well, the guy at the gate, at the door says he charges who he wants, so he wasn't charging anyone." So you weren't very happy about that.
No, we had
But then at Gasparilla, packed. Oh, fabulous. And then at Gasparilla, they gave you the big motorhome. I'll let you deal with that if you choose to, sir.
Okay, so we were getting ready to go on, maybe 40 minutes, and a couple of us were out on sort of a grassy knoll, if you will, smoking a little 420. And the other band, or one of the other bands, was there, and they said, "Hey, how come you're not in that motorhome?" And I said, I don't know, whose is it? And they said, "Well, it's for the headliner. That's for you." And I said, "Oh, okay, thanks for the tip." So we went in and we did a lot of burning of the embers. And when we walked out to go on, I said to the other band, "Hey, take the motorhome. I'm done with it." So he said, "Okay." And I could see a big cloud of ganja floating out of there. And we were up on the stage playing at one point, and I glanced over and I saw the police sort of raiding the motorhome and taking the guys in the other band out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay. Then
And as soon as you finished playing, we made it out of there rather quickly, if I remember.
probably so. Probably so.
I've never seen bronies work so hard and fast.
Yeah. Then I think we went down to Memphis and we're playing at BB King's, and you were running the camera for us. And dancing right in front of the stage was Taj Mahal and Gay Agdabalola. And that was great to get in that particular shot. That was a pretty wild time. Then we came out, we were just getting ready. It was April of 2000. God, that's a long time ago. And we were due to play the second Atlanta Blues Festival. And you were there, and we had a big party at my house after the show. And then we flew out to Cotati, California, and recorded What's It Gonna Take? You and I went to Dogwood Studio and recorded some of our Voodoo Screamer material. I believe we recorded Billy Satan with John Schwenke on the bass and John McKnight on the drums. And we had just recorded it. And I was hosting the Tuesday night blues jam at Darwin's in Marietta. And so we let anybody come up. And, you know, it's all hardcore blues people, right? And so you and I had this worked out, but you came up to the bandstand and said, "Hey, can you guys do one called Billy Satan?" And we said, "Oh, we'll try." And I turned around and McKnight conned it off, and we came in with boom, 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 boom. and we went into this really heavy number, and you started singing Billy Satan puts pins in voodoo dolls and sits in the second booth at the Richmond soda shop or something.
Village Bar.
At the Village Bar, yeah. And the people just went, what's happening? You know, and then you finished and you could hear a pin drop in the place and you got off the stage. And that was a rather hysterical moment.
Well, you know what, Forrest? From a different perspective, you were on the bandstand. I went down and I watched the faces and I sat at the bar. Not a person all night spoke to me. Not one person. And I couldn't imagine why.
I couldn't either. How odd. So we had a regular, I think, when I was living in Georgia, I think for maybe 2 or 3 years, we got together once a week on a songwriting night. And we were really cranking up the tunes. Of course, we did Billy Satan. We did one called Only Moments that made it onto the Colorblind album. And I'll feed a little of that into our discussion here. I'll overdub it later. And that is one of the heaviest songs that Tony Carey put this unbelievable heavy intro on the beginning. Oh man, it was just fabulous. And Andrew Black sang it. Man, that's a great song. And we had a lot of fun with songs like Kickback 1999, We're Gonna Party. And,
Red and blue December, cloud ripper skies, over fresh pellet snow, yeah, trees and leaves they die. One yellow cypress, the wood pile is filled, 3 spots in a lake, survived in a wheel, yes, survived in a wheel.
Stop Calling Me. I don't know. What are some of the other ones you recall?
One of my favorite songs for the energy in it. And as you said, going down to Dogwood was always a blessing, man, because he treated us so nice, Ron. And it was just a pleasure to play there. We did Can't Go On This Way. And I think that the energy there is just, it's a great song. It's about a marriage and the family and all. And I love that tune, man. That's one of my favorites.
It's pretty heavy. It really is. I think.
But once again, Forrest, I couldn't play that at Darwin's either.
No. No. Oh man! And then another gig we did. My blues band was we did the Melbourne Art Festival, and you were down there helping us out on that show. And that was a really big show because we played in the Jacksonville Beach Open, or Springing the Blues, in the afternoon. And then we drove down and headlined the Melbourne Festival with 80,000 people outdoors. It was a blast, man. We had such a good time.
Great show.
Yeah, man. We've had, 30 years of getting together and writing and banging out songs. And the last time we were together, I think, was up here in Virginia about 7 years ago, when we were working on Calling All Clans and Danced in the Valley.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dance
in the Valley.
Yeah. Here's a really funny moment. When I was in Georgia, and I was going through some illness, and being a kung fu guy, I went to the Chinese herb shop and the Chinese doctor, and they prescribed all of these roots and fungus and stuff. And you take the prescription over here and they pull like a cardboard box thing, a shoe box out, and they grab a little hand of like bark and all this stuff, right? And they said you need this special Chinese pot to boil this in. So okay, so I got home, I dumped the lunch bag of all these twigs and roots and Chinese herbs and stuff in there, boiled up. And it was really, really thick. I mean, like molasses. It was very hard to drink. And you showed up ready to do some song work. And you came in and you said, "Oh, what are you drinking?" I said, "Oh, just some Chinese herb tea." And you said, "Oh, I'll have a cup." And I said, "Well, it's pretty strong." You said, "Ah." So I poured you a cup and you were. It was a little tough.
I should have known. I should have known, Forrest, because that stuff stunk. Between the eel, the snake, acorns, all kinds of things from the field, and you know what? To me, when I used to drink, man, heavily, sure, it's not going to be bad.
Yeah.
I tasted that stuff for 2 days, and I said to myself, never again am I going to experiment on something that smells like that.
Pretty funny. Tell me some of the other things you've been working on. I know you've written many poetry collections, and tell the fans how they could hear some of your work or maybe get in touch with you or anything like this.
Okay. After I retired, I've spent the last 5 years in 4 places, Toronto, Florida. I spent a year in Belize living, and now I've been living now almost 3 years in Guatemala. I just recently put out, I think, my 15 collection of poetry. It's a collection of haiku that I've written over the last 12 years. I finished that. Then I put together all the collages I've been collecting over the years, and I put together a new book called Collections for the Coffee Table. I'm finishing a new novel about assisted suicide. It's the 3rd rewrite, but I had to bring it up to date, hoping to publish that soon. And I also am in the middle of finishing a collected poetry for 15 years, non-haiku material. So that's what I've been working on. I have a couple of Bible studies that I'm teaching and apocryphal books, as well as esoteric books, the Book of Enoch, Jubilees, how they relate to Jude, Revelation, and Peter. 1st and 2nd Peter. And at the same time, I came down here from my Mayan archaeology. So I visited many great sites like Tikal, Yasha, many other Mayan sites. And for years that I had vacation, I would go to Mayan sites and Toltec sites, Aztec sites. So I'm still fascinated with that. And my first few years here were a little rocky. I got to meet everyone. People said, these are the unsavory people you want to stay away from. So I said, those are the people I want to get together with, because I want to get to know who's coming after me. Well, now they leave me be as I talk to myself and pray and be left alone. I'm still writing my poetry, still writing my music, and I'm looking forward to us finishing up Calling the Clans and another version of Stop Calling Me. I played down here during the pandemic. I played with 3 different bands in bars and restaurants who would have us. Had great crowd considering the pandemic, and I'm looking for a new band to play with locally, and probably going to be staying here the rest of my days in Guatemala. And I live in the jungle, about 30 miles from Tikal. I live in a little hut. This is it, 1 room. And I can't find my keys in this place. Can you imagine me being back in the house where I used to live in Richmond? Too many floors, attic and the basement. No, too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at right now. I'm very thankful. Enjoyed the years. I enjoyed the years. And I will say one thing. Some of those nights on your porch in Lawrenceville after gigs, and we would be with Brother David and Raymond, and I'd be up until 2, 3 in the morning, and these guys really knew their music. I'm a poet. So you've taught, what I know is because of what you taught me and these other guys. And we'd be out there all night, just singing and all. I missed that time. It was so free out there. But the best story is, and I'm going to leave with this one on best stories. the hot tub you had. This gentleman bought a $50,000 hot tub. He knew he couldn't have the funds, but he was hoping. We always hope. He hoped for the lottery. I do too, but I don't play. So that's the story. So he gets this beautiful hot tub, holds what, 12, 16 people, special jets. Jets would come in your eye, your ears, your legs, in your backside, everything these jets would do. Well, they kept calling him to bring in the money, cash, and Forrest goes, you know what? I'll see you. Call me in a month. Call me on Labor Day. Call me when I'm not here. Call me. So they kept calling. They finally says, we've lost all patience with you, sir. And he goes, well, just let me stay a little longer. And he goes, no, I'm run out of patience. He goes, well, there's a little problem. If you're going to pick it up, you should see the snakes under this thing. We got all kinds of big snakes. We got tarantulas, spiders, whatever. Some of the stuff your Chinese friend was giving you to drink. He should have come underneath the hot tub. Anyhow, you said, come on over, Mojo. The hot tub's going. And at night after the snow, we would go out, walk there barefoot into the tub and just sit there with a stocking cap or one of your hats on, this one without the holes. And you said, you got to come over. Let's use the hot tub the last time. And you told me the story about the snakes. So I think I came over 2 or 3 times. You said, the guy's coming tomorrow. I said, oh, well, thank you, hot tub. The guy comes with all these people from the Animal Protection League, the sheriff. They got guns. They got hooks to pull them out, like a gaffer years ago on vaudeville. Gaffer, pull them off the stage. They come, they lift it up, and they got on protective leg equipment like you're out in the jungle, afraid of fur de lances. They pick the thing up, all these guys, there's nothing under there. And they go, where'd the snakes go? He goes, they're fast. That's what you told them. They're fast.
Really?
And bye-bye, hot tub. That to me, I still remember as one of the best tales. And believe me, there are a million tales to tell about you.
I do recall them calling and me saying, yeah, you come get it. I said, but you might want to watch out for those water moccasins from the creek, and there's some alligators there too. And you know, we do have the Zika mosquito, by the way, so, and some tsetse flies. So make sure you're, you know, vaccinated, up to date with that. And I said, there's about 100 yards of like poison ivy surrounding the whole thing. And, you know, I just told them one horror story after another. And when they finally showed up, I think they sent some bikers out or somebody, I don't know. But it was like 1, 2, 3, goodbye. One of the stories I was thinking of was when we were going to record and we stopped and we got some sandwiches early, and the 6 guys pulled up and blocked my car in because they were going to abduct a 19-year-old girl who they had followed out of the store, and they were going to kidnap her. And I looked around, I said, oh man, there's nobody here but me. I'm going to the studio. I'm 50 years old. I got out of the car. So there's 5 of them wrestling with this girl, and the driver got out and stood up, and he was so tall. I had to look up here. He said, I thought, well, I'll just write his license number down and phone it in, you know. But he didn't like that at all. And just then the rumble started. It was
I got a nice concussion out of that one. Yeah, I got a concussion, and I threw that big guy into the grill work. And the next thing I know, 2 more were on me, and then 3 were on you. And then the police go, hey, you want to go to the hospital? You go, no, show must go on. The guy goes, look at his head. And I had a knot this big. And remember how I did Billy Satan?
Yeah.
My head was killing me. I had a headache. I recorded that in the bathroom there at the back of the studio because the noise in my head was splitting. And I said that night, I said, Lord, as right before we recorded, if I go down tonight here, it would be the best day of my life. Singing the music, man.
Yep. My favorite shirt with all guitars was ripped apart and covered with blood. When we finally met Schwenke and McKnight, where they were waiting for us, we were 20 minutes late, and we told them the story. They said, "Let's get them." I said, "No, they're late now. We got a session to do." But I had the worst headache of my life.
Oh, you did say one thing. You said one thing to them, but we brought some food.
Yeah, I got sandwiches. All right. Oh, man.
You didn't feel like eating, and I didn't either.
No. So look, thanks for your friendship over all these decades, my friend. And I'm looking forward to getting together and finishing the Voodoo Screamer album. Billy Satan is out there on YouTube on my channel if anyone wants to check it out.
If you can,
Yeah.
on this YouTube, put up my email address, and if anyone wants to get a collection of poetry, it's free. I'll send it to you in a PDF form.
Okay, great. I'll put it in the description.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And my friends, just remember this. Keep love in your heart, a song in your head, and I will see you down the musical story highway on the next adventure of the old time rock and roller. So long, my friends.
Bye-bye. Thank you all. Thank you, Forrest.
You're welcome.